Yabba dabba? Don't. The Flintstones, the prehistoric cartoon that's kind of set in 1960s America, except it is in fact the prehistoric world, and they run along with their legs underneath their cars, and there's dinosaurs and things, and there's Fred Flintstone, Wilma, his wife, and Barney Rubble and Betty, who live next door. Kind of got clips of it by The Simpsons when that arrived on the scene, and in fact prior to that the Flintstones had a bit of a revival in the UK. It was being shown at the 5:35 slot on BBC One in the mid-80s, just before Neighbours got that slot. So it's a candidate to be turned into a computer game. Why not? It's a known property. Kids are going to know it. Therefore, good candidate to make a computer game. Indeed, there'd already been one Flintstones game, one attempt at it, and this is from Grand Slam, and they commissioned Tech to produce the game. You know, the people who gave us Chubby Gristle. Some people think I only do reviews on Chinivision of games I actually owned. That's not true, but this is a game I owned. I bought it from John Menzies in Bournemouth on the EDOS system, so it was duplicated in store, which meant it was incredibly hard to load. The game has 4 levels, and there we go. That's kind of taking off the title sequence not very well. There's Wilma, and level 1, basically, paint this wall now, Fred. Yes, what we have is a DIY simulator, a watching paint dry simulator, and once you paint the wall, you can go and have some fun with Barney. So there we go. And you're looking after your baby Pebbles because Wilma can't be bothered, and she continually wants to escape from her playpen and draw abusive images on the wall, basically. I mean, she can literally write, and she's a baby. So I've got some kind of squirrel thing, and I have to paint the walls. And oh no, you see, there's the problem. Your brush runs out of paint very quickly, so you have to go back over to the Specky. The game offers you the chance to practice part 1 of the game or part 2 of the game. Part 1 is painting the wall, which you can do anyway just by playing the game. Part 2 skips you forward to the bowling, but you can't skip forward to the driving section, which is level 2, and you can't go to level 4 where you have to rescue your baby from the building site. It's like a recognition that this game might be quite hard to complete. Or certainly the first level might be quite hard to complete, as we'll see. Okay, Wilma, I'm going bowling with Barney. There we go, the baby is drawing on the wall. Now the trick is, and you will end up picking her up anyway, if you do the top of the wall first, you can let her do what she likes down there. Oh yeah, if you pick up the baby, you drop your paintbrush, which of course, being the Flintstones, is alive. So I've got a brush loaded with paint, so the trick is to do the top of the level first, because the baby won't climb up there. There we go. You can do a little bit down there if you want to, but you won't have much paint. Oh, try and avoid pebbles if you can. There's an MSX version, because it's a Grand Slam game and they like doing this kind of thing at this time. Chubby Gristle is also available on the MSX. Lucky MSX owners. So it's a Specky port, and I've progressed a little bit further. I've done the top level. I'm not worrying about pebbles until I need to kind of get her out of the way. Your time during this, and there's a little timer icon on the bottom right that shows you how much time you've got left. Now the tricky thing is actually covering all of the wall, because you can think you've covered the wall and then it turns out you haven't. Nicky and Bunty sometimes try and play this game on their streams on a Friday night. They never get off level 1. I never got off level 1 when I had this game, even if I could get the game to load, because it's pretty impossible. C64 version. Another Ben Daglish soundtrack. Game designed by Tech Software Development. So Flintstone is completely in shadow there, just like the other versions. Wilma says, paint this wall. Why Wilma doesn't have orange or brown kind of hair, because the baby does, I don't know. Wilma doesn't have white hair. So you need to, oh no, you see, you pick up the baby and then you drop the brush. I'm cheating on the C64. I've frozen the timer, because that's the only way you're going to complete level 1. And you realise, although this is a Ben Daglish soundtrack, who's a very talented, usually, sound designer, this has the ring of the Chubby Gristle theme about it, with all the extra noodling along and the extra bits and the kind of slightly kind of boingy sound to it. Sega Master System version, yes, this got ported to the consoles, unbelievably. Well, the consoles as well, the Master System anyway. That's a nice enough intro screen. Very faithful to the cartoon, and you get a sample. A scratchy sample, but you do get a sample, and you actually get to see Fred Flintstone. Level 1, Fred must paint the wall. So it's looking quite nice on the Master System. Perhaps they've tweaked the gameplay slightly, so it isn't completely horrible like the other versions. They'll have to have done that surely, because Sega would have done some kind of quality control on this. No, it's exactly the same. And the theme tune goes round and round, and you wonder, is this actually more tedious than real painting? You get up the top of the ladder, it's 50-50 chance you're facing the right direction or not. And I'm running out of time, and you see, go down, go back up. No, and I've failed the level. It hasn't told me, it's just come up with level 1 again. So back we go. Why can't Wilma look after this baby? I know it's, you know, different times now, but if Fred's got to paint the wall, he can't be expected to paint the wall and look after the baby. ST version? That's not... Is that someone just saying Yabba Dabba Doo? Or is it sped up? And oh yes, we're back onto Ben Daglish's superb AY rendition of the Flintstones theme with all the extra bits. Plinky plonky boing boing. Vision plays games like this so you don't have to. If you enjoy seeing games on real hardware, we do have a Patreon, you can check that out in the details below. A few exclusives on there, mainly previews, but your support is always appreciated. Thank you. Amiga version. Oh, you think the Amiga's going to have a better stab at this? Oh, it's kind of like the AY tune, but just more muffled. Is this one of the worst Amiga soundtracks ever, I ask myself? Amstrad version. Now, you see, I've painted the wall. Look, that's a completed wall. Have I missed something? Yeah, there's a little dot up there. Shall I... Is that where it is? No? Try and paint that? Can I paint that? No? The baby's drawing on the wall again with acid house symbols. And I'm going to run out of time. I think there's a little dot up there on the right. Yeah, there you go. This is level 1, the Flintstones all over. You'll get nearly complete, and then there'll be one pixel somewhere that you haven't managed to paint. Sinclair user gave this 8 out of 10. Good graphics and a variety of game styles, immense difficulty makes it last. This is seen as an advantage apparently. Level 2, you have to go with Barney in your car to the bowling alley. And it's like Moon Patrol. Basically, it's a prehistoric Earth, but if your car goes anywhere near a rock, the wheels fall off, even though the wheels are made of rock. It's horrible. I am using an RZX now from the RZX archive on the Spectrum version because, yet again, I got stuck at the end of level 1, just with 1 pixel left somewhere, but I didn't know where. I mean, Sinclair Used gave this 8 out of 10, as I said, and they do say on level 1 you can be absolutely sure it looks like you've covered the entire wall, but the game seems unwilling to register this fact. That is it. There's something going on there. There's either something hidden or it's impossible to tell. And here we are on the Master System with a plinky plonk, almost like a Game & Watch kind of rendition of the Flintstones theme that goes over and over and over. And when your wheel falls off, Fred has to jack up the car and put the wheel back on. Oh dear, the bowling alley is closed, even though the timer hasn't run out yet. Looks like we arrived too late, Fred. Back on the 64, we covered the wall. No, there's still some bits down there which we've got to cover. Zap gave this 40%, calling it a poor interpretation of the cartoon, only recommended for die-hard fans. Incidentally, that SU review, SU had an exclusive Flintstone poster on the centre page. So, yeah. Oh, I was just getting all the flashbacks of playing Chubby Gristle. The horrendous font at the bottom there, just the noodling music here. Da, 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 da. Boing, boing. What a terrible game that was. So C64 we go. We've got to go to the bowling alley, which hopefully is going to be the highlight of the game. We're going to be doing bowling. Everyone loves bowling. And finally, after what seems like several years, I reached the bowling alley. Remember, I'm cheating, so the bowling alley is going to be open. I have no time limits. Fred yells, "Yabba dabba doo, I'm going to be great tonight, Barney." So here we go, it's the bowling. Really looking forward to this. There I am on the left, and there's the view of the bowls on the right. You go left, right, up and down, and you hold down fire for the correct amount of power. That's probably quite bad. Very little power. I misjudged that horrendously. I've got quite some waiting now. And it's gone down left. Have I got one? I didn't get one. And these big hooks come down, that meat hooks, and take the bowls up. Master System version, this will be looking up surely. Right, position myself. Hold down fire, and here we go. Bam! Okay. Okay, right, okay. It's a little bit more promising. Line myself up. And all I've got to do is beat Barney. Oh! Not much in way of scaling there. Right. And now you see why the little triangle on the bottom left-hand side, what that does. It shows you what pins you've hit. This is slow. I know bowling can be slow going with all the changes, but I've never seen my bowling computer games on the computer need to be that slow. Amstrad version. That kind of pink, slightly grim colour scheme. I didn't put enough power on there, did I? I did not. The ball is going very, 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 very slowly. Yeah, this isn't particularly enjoyable either. It's more enjoyable than the painting or the rubbish moon buggy game. You think they'd have just a straight down from behind view or something? It's this weird split screen. And the character doesn't even particularly look like, well, he kind of looks like Fred Flintstone. I always thought, I mean, this is Hanna-Barbera, right? And High-Tech used to get it in the neck from Hanna-Barbera if they didn't do their Amstrad games in mode 0, in 16 colour mode, because they wanted their games to be really colourful and faithful to the cartoons. So how they've got away with this on the Amstrad. There's Barney, he's going to spin his arm. Hey! You see, that's what Barney does when he bowls. I remember that much. We've got one thing about a Flintstones game that should laugh and amuse. They've managed one thing. MSX version, where I'm using the practice mode to actually do this. This is why the practice mode is there. To let you play the bowls without having to go through the tedium of the painting. It's like Grand Slam took delivery of the game and went, yeah lads, you know, this is all very well, but what you've basically given us is a painting simulator. Can we have something where we skip all that rubbish and just go to the bowling? Amiga version. It's no better. The music's worse. Plays exactly the same. Imagine having an Amiga and ending up with the Flintstones. Goodness me. I mean, this has to be one of the lamest 16-bit kind of games ever. I mean, I've seen worse games, but actually for a license that has so much potential to do this badly. Oh yeah, there's Chubby Gristle. Well, Chubby Gristle wasn't a license, but ST version. I mean, the one thing that I'm just thinking about on the speed meter there is it almost looks like a giant poo as it goes along on the ST and Amiga versions. A giant brown poo to represent the Flintstones game. Spectrum version, Pebbles missing, last seen crawling towards the new granite flats, worried mother calls for search. Right, so now we're into a platformer game on level 4. Barney's there, doing absolutely naff all, just wandering around. I mean, Fred's probably drunk, right? But, it's probably not a good idea to be wandering around a building site. C64 version. And it being the Flintstones, there is a pig man wandering around and a giant cloud. Well-known characters from the Flintstones. I mean, what on earth is going on? You think, what are those face things? Now I've got my hard hat on. Go full Alan Partridge there. Level 4 on the Mars system. Fred must rescue Pebbles and bring her back. She's crawled onto a girder. Well, it looks more attractive here again. The Mars system is winning the graphics, even over the 16-bit versions. Audio is just as grim as any of the other versions. Right, they look more like poisonous clouds than faces, so I can accept they might be... What is that? Is that a character from the Flintstones? I've got my hard hat on. Oh, I'm falling to my death. There's Pebbles. I need to rescue her, but I'm dead. Spectrum version. Got my hard hat on. Probably going to fall to my death again. Down. Oh, got pushed by the cloud. Oh, there's Pebbles. I really can't be bothered. No, I've been pushed by a cloud again. Oh dear. Well. This is fun, isn't it? Why do one good game when you can have 4 very mediocre games all in one? Well, I've got Pebbles now. Right, all I've got to do is climb up the ladder and get her back down to the ground. That should be easy enough. Oh, no, don't push me, don't push me, don't push me. Oh, I've fallen with the baby. We're all... Oh, no, I've got the baby back. The baby is back. I've got the baby back. I've fallen with the baby again. Pebbles was rescued by Barney. Fred Flintstone, you are a failure. Yeah. The Flintstones, a classic example of how to really foul up a license with fantastic potential. Well done, tech. Well done. Superb work. You've done a great job here. As I said before, why produce one good game when you could just give the buying public 4 terrible games? The painting level is one of the most tedious things I've ever seen in a computer game. It's DIY. You're playing a computer game to escape this stuff, and you've got to paint a wall. And worse, the entire thing about painting the wall is faulty anyway, because 1 pixel out, which you won't be able to see, you won't get any further. And the time limit is horrendous. Level 2 is a rubbish moon buggy game. Level 3, a rubbish bowling game. Level 4, an absolutely terrible platform game. I could go through all these versions, but they're all irredeemably awful, an insult to every single system they're on. I can just about single out the Master System version for having authentic, good-looking Flintstone graphics, but it doesn't take away from the fact the game is just appalling to play. A huge waste of a license, a huge waste of the customer's money, and frankly, oh dear, from the people who gave you Chubby Gristle, they've squeezed out another, well, Chubby Gristle.